I like when you do the intro.
I think it's all working.
Oh.
I think we're here.
Hey.
Welcome back to the Chris and Veronica show, chrisandveronica.com. Yeah, we're hanging out, having fun. We have no agenda today, literally no notes. You can see there's nothing in my hands.
Unscripted.
Unscripted. We're also joined by Rico, the amazing little floofer down here. So you'll probably hear him in the background a little bit. But yeah, hello and welcome. What do we want to talk about today?
Ooh, what do we want to talk about? I'm excited because it's unscripted. Usually Chris has me on a script. I'm like, no, I need to be seen and heard unscripted.
I know. I love being, scripted versus unscripted. It's the whole thing. It makes it fun. It makes it exciting because you never know where things are going to go.
Bum, bum, bum.
It also makes it easier for show prep. And we've been talking about this for like a week. What are we going to talk about? I don't know.
What do we want to talk? I don't know.
We're going to figure it out.
I was told that my husband said we can't be saying he said we need a soundboard. He's like, you're not supposed to do that. I'm like, do what? This? Bum, 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 bum. He's like, don't do that. So, of course, I have to do bum, 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 bum. No. Ooh, you know what? What did you want to be when you were a child? When you were in elementary school?
Elementary school. That's,
Yes.
I don't know.
I know.
When I was
Really?
a wee tiny gay, I don't know. What did I want to be?
A wee tiny lad. Okay.
What did I want to be? Yeah, I don't know. There was a whole thing. I have no idea. Tennis star, I feel like.
Really?
I feel like
I wanted to be a librarian.
Librarian?
Yes.
Why a librarian?
I was the only kid in my school that had, so back then, when you went to the library, they gave you those index cards and you stamped them. I was the only kid that had 2 front and back stamps. I loved the library. That was, oh my God, that was the most magical place for me. I loved going all the time. So I wanted to be a librarian. However,
Like librarian, like at the public library, school library, like which?
I just wanted to work at a library.
Okay. I remember going into the school library when I was a kid. I don't really remember getting into like a public library when I was a kid. But at the school, they always had it,
yes,
right? Like,
yes.
I was always there, and I played like Oregon Trail and stuff, and like, you've died of dysentery or whatever. I was like, it's just an Oregon Trail. I don't know. Like, I'm just trying to survive, like making my way across the thing. Like, I don't even remember half the game now, but I do remember it was fun. That much I remember.
I don't even remember Oregon Trail. Oh, but I was in East Los Angeles, so
yeah. I was in Federal Way. I don't know. I feel like Federal Way was like we had like the little Mac things that were like in the computers, like we had a computer lab.
I feel so old right now.
You go to, it was like when they first came out as like a desktop Mac where you took and you put the little like disc inside of it. It went, and then you put it
yes. No.
Yeah.
Ours, hold on. But do you know that you have to have like this big degree to be a librarian?
Yeah, right? That's huge.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Who knew that indexing took so much?
I didn't say it. You did. Don't
It's
hate
also
me, librarians.
I feel like librarians have been on like the cusp of everything that comes out that's new as well. Like they're the people that because they have access to all the knowledge and all the information, they're like, hey, all this knowledge exists here. Like do this thing over here, even though people aren't doing it yet because like that's what they do. Like I feel like
because
librarians
they
like,
have to be.
lead.
I think that because they want to offer it to the community. They're there to help us, to give us access to the tools that we ourselves would not be able to have.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I love that. What's your favorite part about school? And you can't say recess.
I don't think recess was my favorite part, actually.
What?
No. So usually during recess, I would stay in with the teacher and like not go out. So I was that kid that like stayed in and was very, very introverted and like didn't really want to do that thing. I know.
What?
It was the whole thing.
Not this whole.
I know, Rico, you tell her. Yeah. But for elementary, junior high, and then even like high school, I don't remember really eating in the cafeteria ever. I would help out in the kitchen and like be in the kitchen, like making stuff and doing that. But like I don't remember physically eating in the cafeteria with other people.
Oh, so my favorite part was you had to be chosen to go work in the cafeteria.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a big deal
Yeah.
because you got the extra, especially my favorite dessert was I remember like it was yesterday. It was an orange, almost like an orange icy, and it came in the carton. So if
Yeah.
you volunteered,
Yeah, that
you
plastic
got an
carton thing. Yeah.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
so delicious.
I like so for me, I took my lunch every day, but like every other Friday or something, I got to like take in a little bit of money to be able to get the waxy pizza. Like if pizza day
Oh,
for us, I think was on Friday, and so they make that big like tray bake pizza thing. And I would get my little rectangle slice of pizza and be like, "This is the best thing ever,"
I'm
because
living the life.
yeah, because I've been having like peanut butter and jelly all week and like,
Oh
that kind of thing.
oh
Cause
my God, isn't it funny how everybody had peanut butter and jelly at some point? There was no allergies. I didn't even know there was such a thing as peanut allergy.
yeah, it's a huge thing. Like we have a friend that has like this like rental property or whatever, this like their summer place that they go to. And they're like, they do not allow peanuts or peanut butter whatsoever. And I'm like, that is great because there's people that come there that do have peanut allergies that are very, very aggressive.
I never thought
So
of that.
from that standpoint,
Ah.
like, yeah, I remember back in the day when we were just like, bring everything, bring the nuts, bring the dairy, bring all the things. And like, I can only imagine people that had allergies then being like, I have an allergy. And people are like, right, but could you just be on that side of the room instead? Like, rather than actually like making it so that everybody can be there.
So funny story, but I have a friend. Oh, you've met her. Um, she was a roommate, and I did not. She has a peanut allergy, a deathly peanut allergy,
Yeah.
and I didn't realize how many things had peanuts. I did not think about it. And then
Manufacturing facilities, they literally like if they have manufacturing facilities that have peanuts somewhere in the facility, it's considered to like contain peanuts, right? Because that's such a big deal
yes.
for people that have that allergy.
And when it was my turn to cook, I never had to worry about what's in the ingredients. And there were so many things. So I love coconut milk or almond milk. And it was like, oh, wait a minute, I can't have that. It's got nuts.
Yeah, like what are almonds again? Nuts. Yeah,
I
like
know. Or my favorite Mexican thing, it's marzipan.
yeah.
I did not know that.
The whole thing is literally nuts. Yeah.
I know. I did not know. And she was like, are you trying to kill me? I'm like, no, this is my favorite. She's like, Veronica, look at the ingredients. I'm like, oh my God, I am so sorry.
When I was younger, so we used to do things like we got done working in the yard or something, and we would come inside at my grandparents' house, and they always had a freezer that had ice cream in it. And so we'd make our own like ice cream, like milkshakes and stuff. It was really fun because that was like the treat at the end of the day for having done so much like yard work or things outside that you come inside and you get this like remember like the Tupperware cups from back in the day, like
Oh,
Tupperware like
yes.
salespeople. We had all those cups, every single one of them, the green one, the yellow one, like all of them.
Remember when Tupperware came out with make your own popsicles?
Yeah.
That was such
We
a
have
huge
those.
Yes.
Yeah, where it's like fruit pops and the little thing goes inside of it and then you can like wash it and reuse it and then it's like popsicle things. Like, yes.
So in Mexico, when we were down there when I was older, I didn't realize, but they would sell these like popsicles, but they were really in the sandwich bags with
Right.
just with
Yeah.
a knot.
Yeah, tied with
And
a
I
knot
was
on
like,
it. Yeah.
what is this?
It's the same thing for juice. Like juice goes in the bag, you put the straw in the bag, and then you tie off the bag, right? Like that's what it is.
I
Yeah.
did not know that, and a friend had to be like, "It's a popsicle,"
That's how you do
and I was
that.
like, "Where's the stick?" And she's
There
like,
is no
"No, this
stick.
is." Thank you, Chris. Thank you for that. Yeah,
I'm filling in your friend back here. I'm like, your friend knew. I know. How did you? I mean, come on. That's how that
I had
works.
never been to Mexico before, and I was like, "Oh, okay." And then after that, I'm like, "Ooh!" I said, "But in East Los Angeles, we had the paletero, we had the corn." So I was like,
Yeah.
"Why didn't we have this? Because I could have been making my own popsicles this whole time."
This whole time. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So we had the Tupperware things, and that was like our treat at the end of the day, which was super fun. It was a really, really good thing to have, I think. And that also created like family time because everybody
Yes.
did that at the same time. And it was usually like after dinner. So like after dinner was cleaned up, then it's like, okay, milkshake time. And you could do like milkshakes and stuff. So
Wow.
mm,
I for us, it was always, there was never who's going to do because I'm an only child. So it was me that helped clean up and everything. But it always surprised me people that didn't sit down and have dinner together.
Yeah.
Even when I got married and we had kids, that was the one thing. Hey, no cell phones at the table.
Yeah.
That's it.
We still have that rule now.
Yeah. As it should be, because that's when hey, how was your day?
Mhm.
What happened? Was there anything interesting? And some people say, wow, or, this is not the Cosby Show. This is not the Brady Bunch. But how are you supposed to connect with your other family members? That was the time. At least that's the way that I took it. So I love that. I love like when you all invite me over for dinner, which is a lot because, Pocket loves me and so does Chris. No, but I love that. We have actual conversations. I love that.
Yeah, getting able to like actually hang out and really like connect with each other. Because
Yes.
sometimes you're like doing something, or you'll set up a time to be like, let's watch a movie, right? And that's great, but you can also have those conversations. You can have conversations over dinner, over snacks or whatever, and just like hang out, because food is also something that brings people together. And I feel like because of the types of things that we cook, it's not just like the same thing all the time, right? We've got a little bit of everything from a lot of different cultures that we engage in, that like we've lived in or been part of. And so with that, it's like, hey, you want to try this like random thing? And people are like, I've never tried that before, but okay.
Ooh, remember when you took me to shawarma? And I was like, oh my God, this
Yeah.
is like, it's almost like Greek, like a gyro, right? And you're like,
Yeah.
You're like, oh, bless your heart.
Yeah, shawarma's so good.
Yeah, look at you get all excited about
it's
it.
that kind of thing. Like, and so just finding those things that, like, if I remember too, when I was younger, the neighborhood that we lived in, we call this the old like blue house, but when we lived in the blue house, it was in Federal Way, and in the same neighborhood, there was a girl there that was my same age, and we were in the same class, and her dad was the mayor of Federal Way at the time. And we like got to know each other through like piano lessons and stuff, because I did piano lessons when I was younger.
Of course you did.
Obviously, there's like a piano in the other room. So she actually like got together, and she was like, hey, have you ever had this like thing? And she was talking about sushi. She's like, have you ever had sushi? And I was like, oh, that's really interesting. Like, no, I haven't had that. Tell me more. And so she went through and she was like, this is essentially like what a California roll is. It is very like American. This is another one where it's the rice and the type of rice and how it like is sticky or not, and whether or not it's going to work in that. And then, yeah, just the different, like, these are the like fish that you can have it, or different types of things that you can have on everything. I'm being very generic here, obviously, but,
I'm learning too. Like, ooh, really? What else? What else?
Right. And it was really interesting because I think that was about third grade for me, where my parents were like, yeah, you can go to her house and help her mom make sushi and stuff. Because I always saw we would like bring our lunches together. And because we played piano, we would actually like play piano in the like music room rather than be in the like cafeteria. And so I'd see like, oh, that's really cool. Like, what's that? Right. And I'm just like a kid, be like, hey, what's that thing? And she was like, oh, this is like sushi. We eat it all the time. Or like, this is rice with something else, and we have this all the time. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. And so like the neighborhood that we lived in was like very diverse, I guess, in that sense, where it wasn't just like us. It was a bunch of like different people that were there. So yeah. And the other thing too is like, I took that same knowledge, and then when I was in high school, I was volunteering at a camp, and we had Japanese and Korean exchange students. And so I sat down with them, and they actually showed me the difference between Japanese sushi and Korean sushi.
There's a difference?
Right? Yeah. And just like how they do that, like culturally different for each of them.
Oh, wow.
It was
I
really
did not
cool.
know that there was even which would make sense, right? But wow.
Yeah. And
look at this being an education. The more
Right.
you know.
Yeah. And for some of them, it was like their family like traditions, right? So this is my family tradition versus something that is like Japanese versus Korean or something like that. And so they're like, in our household, this is what we do in order to pickle vegetables. We pickle vegetables for about 2 weeks ahead of time, at least, in order to have that there. Kimchi's going for this amount of time. And those types of like cultural traditions that they really enjoyed. we put into place there because I was at the retreat center. I think it was for like 6 months or so, just like being there and volunteering. So I got to learn a lot from them coming in. And then they also traded out exchange students throughout that period. And so I got to learn a lot from like different people just through that as well.
That's awesome. This is why you're such a well-rounded person.
I don't know about all that. Well, I don't know about well-rounded. I am here. That is a thing. I don't know if I'm like, there's a lot of people out there that are well-rounded. I think that I am just somebody who has had my own life experiences like everybody else, right?
I know. I like to tease you, but I feel the same way. I feel that I've been very blessed to have different people in my life. So one person said, Veronica, you're the only person that I know that can have a wide range of such a social circle.
Yeah. So when you were younger and you went to like the bodega or something like that, like what was the thing that you would go for? Like Takis or like what was your thing?
So funny story is I do not really like the Takis or the
blasphemer. Okay, internet, like jump in. Be like, what?
Or no, there's more. Or like the chili on the fruit. I don't do that.
You don't? Okay.
I know you're like,
I'm looking at you a little crazy over here. If you're not watching on video, like I have a little bit of a crazy eye going.
Really, I actually went for a lot of the marzipan. That was my go-to, and saladitos.
Yeah.
I know you were with me when we went into another Mexican store, and I asked for them. So what it was 2 flavors. One that was chili, and I think they said it was salted dried prunes, right? Do you remember what they said?
I think it was salted dried prunes, yeah.
So one, of course, saladitos was salty. And then there was the chili one. And the salty one, you would actually put in, you can put that one either in an orange, or if you really wanted to, like, just thinking about it, my mouth is watering, or put it in a lemon.
Right. Yeah. Some citrus. Like you put it in a citrus something.
But the chili one, no, you had to put it in an orange to get that sweet chili thing. That was my extent of chili. I do not like Tabasco. I know. I do not like the
I just imagine like Veronica taking an orange, like poking a hole in it, shoving this thing inside, shaking it up, and then like squeezing it out. And being like, I got juice, everybody. It's juice. It's a whole thing. Look at this. It's spicy juice from the fruit, you know.
Or tahini. I don't like any of those things. I like the natural flavor of stuff, you know. I don't like flavored anything because I feel like I like mangoes, but I do not jicama or guayaba. I know. Yeah. I know. You're like, who are you?
I don't even know
are you?
I don't even know you anymore. I can't do it. We had so when we first got married, we moved in together, and I have this way of eating mangoes that really frustrates my spouse. I don't know if anybody else has this type of thing.
How do you eat mangoes?
Right? I feel like I eat them normally.
Okay.
Right? Like.
Start judging. Go ahead.
I know.
I explain.
You know how there's a little bit on the seed? Like you've got to get it off the seed by like putting it in your mouth and like scraping it across your teeth to get the rest of it off the seed. And then you like throw away the seed and then you like scoop out what you can from like the mango peel. And then you like put it in your mouth and you take the rest of the mango off from like inside the like flesh of the fruit.
You know why I get that? Chicken wings.
Right.
I look at my spouse all the time. Look at all that meat on there. I'm one of those that takes every piece of the bone.
Yeah.
Sometimes the everything.
Everything.
Yeah. So
you gotta enjoy it.
You know what? I get that.
Right?
I get that. See?
Whereas Pocket's like, you're making too much noise over there. I can hear you smacking around. I'm like, ugh, whatever. It's fine. I'm enjoying my mango.
You're making noise.
Yeah.
Grow. No.
Yeah. Me and Rico are good. We're fine. We're good. We got this. Me and Rico and mangoes. We're like,
yes, because I like you keep on doing it. I know you love that mango.
So those are my like food things, I guess, from like youthfulness and then like into adulthood and like thinking about those types of things. I love a good casserole. I'm a huge fan of casseroles. Just like take it, put it in a pan, put it in the oven, and out it comes. You know, like.
So what's the difference between a casserole and a roast?
A roast? A roast is just meat.
Okay, and what's a casserole?
A casserole goes in a dish, usually. Yeah.
The way you just see the way Chris is looking at me like, who are you?
9 by 13. These are 2 completely different things. Because a roast is actually like a slab of meat that is on something that you put in the oven to roast it.
Okay.
Right? Like that's what I think about. Are you talking about like a barbecue versus a cookout? Is this what you're
Is
talking
this
about?
what we're doing? No, no, Christopher.
Because these are completely different
No,
things as well.
I understand.
Okay.
What if somebody doesn't know?
What a roast is.
Yes. And what's the
Okay.
difference between just like what's the difference between a roast, a stew, and a casserole?
Okay.
People don't
a
know.
stew has some juice to it. Casserole.
So
don't have
is a stew a soup?
It could be.
No.
It's a
I
little
believe
thicker,
that
though.
a
I think it's a
stew
little
is
thicker.
more brothier,
Oh, really?
more thicker, and I think a soup is a lot of a thinner. Like for
Yeah.
soup, I think of like a caldo de res,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And a stew, I think of it as almost like oh my gosh.
The meat's been in there so long that it's like tearing apart and
so
in
it's
there and
kind of
everything else.
thicker.
Yeah.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
Got,
And a
like, thicker.
casserole, I don't know, for some reason in my mind, I'm thinking it's almost like a something that's so combined, almost like a meatloaf. Almost in my mind, I'm thinking,
Casserole.
okay,
Have you ever had a casserole before?
probably not.
Okay, so this is a question. So we're going to be making a casserole later, probably not on video, but I'm going to show you like what, even like if you think about a Midwest bake, right? Like there's Midwest bakes, there's casseroles. Some of those can be the same. Some of them are
So
different.
it's baked.
It's a baked dish that has stuff in the dish. And a lot of times it's like
would
pasta
a Frito pie
based.
be like a casserole? Would it be considered a casserole?
Well, it depends on what you mean by Frito pie. What's this recipe?
You don't know what a Frito pie.
I do. What I'm saying
Okay,
is
so
there's
you
different
put
recipes.
a layer
for,
of Fritos.
Right, on the bottom.
And then another layer of chili.
Right.
And then a layer of cheese.
Yeah.
And then you repeat it.
Okay, you don't do like ground beef or anything in it? Or...
Well, it's the chili. The chili
And
has
then
to have ground beef.
Do you do a package of cornbread on top of it? So you make this cornbread and then you put it over the top and then you bake the whole thing? Because then it's an upside down cornbread sandwich. You ever had that? It's real good.
And the people
That's a
wonder why
casserole.
there's a fat girl on the inside as well as the outside.
I'm 6'6". It just gets evened out from head to toe. An extra 30 pounds,
but
nobody
that
can
sounds
notice.
delicious.
Isn't that good? Yeah. So
We might have to make one for science.
Yeah.
For science.
So when I was living in Hawthorne, California, I had a roommate at the
West
time.
side.
Whoop, whoop. And I had a roommate at the time, and she taught me how to make that. It's essentially like a taco, like base, like you're talking about. But then you take an entire thing of like cornbread, like muffin stuff, mix it all together.
Like
you put it
Jiffy
on
Mix?
top, kind of like Jiffy Mix,
Okay.
yeah. And then you put that on top, and you like add in some cheese and corn and stuff into that mixture, so that
Corn too?
cheese and
Stop,
corn
you had me
inside of the
already at
cornbread.
cornbread.
This is what I'm talking about. And then like you put it on there, and then you like bake the whole thing, and it's like super tasty. Yeah, it's essentially like a cornbread casserole.
Okay.
Yeah, it's super good. But it's those things where like you think about. For me, I had never thought about taking a packaged item like that and then putting it on top of a layer of things to then bake it like that. I always thought like cornbread, you like bake it on its own, right?
That reminds me of my favorite dessert now that I make for either Thanksgiving, Christmas time, or just because it's pecan pie crunch. So you'll get the pumpkin pie filling, you put it at the bottom, and then you'll get a cake mix, yellow cake mix. You spread it on top, but then you melt the butter and you put that, and then you crush pecans on top or
Okay.
walnuts, whatever. And oh my God, that thing is so
Candied
delicious.
walnuts.
It,
Dun, dun, dun. Didn't even think about that, did you?
no,
Right?
I
Game
did not.
changer.
See?
What?
This is,
Candied
why, this is why we're
walnuts.
gonna have to keep going to the gym, because I'm like, ooh, this is for science, everybody. I am eating this for you.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
I did not ever think about that. Okay, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, there we go.
Anyway, that's our food stuff. We're at like 20-ish minutes. We should probably like jump into the next episode. What do you think?
We probably, yes. Do you want to see us again? I know you do.
Right? Come and find us. We're online, ChrisandVeronica.com.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where else, Chris? You
I
have
don't
this
know.
down like
It's
that.
everywhere. We are podcasting on Spotify. We're on YouTube.
Whoop, whoop.
ChrisandVeronica.com. Social medias, Facebook, Instagram, etc. Chris and Veronica Show. Again, I am Chris. This is.
Veronica.
Thanks for joining us, and we hope you have an amazing day.